Happy new day, beautiful people. It is me, your friend, your consultant, your coach, your clairvoyant COO, Tanisha Yorick. I am the founder and CEO of Your Other Mind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the first episode of The Art of Moving Forward. It is probably going to be the most important episode because it's the foundational episode. I am so excited to be here. There's a story, there's a conversation. I'm going to share all the details, but welcome to my world. Welcome. So, the art of moving forward is a journey into entrepreneurship, a journey into spirituality, and a journey into strategic growth that leads to defined and regular and consistent outcomes. So this is a conversation to really explore what it means to be an entrepreneur in the world of collaborative economics, collaborative capitalism. I know that's an oxymoron or kind of cancels each other out, but just go with me as we explore this. And conscious creation as a CEO and founder in our world today. The art of moving forward is, well, let me tell you why I named it that. So welcome, come on in, get seated, get rooted, and then we'll go into the intention and all those things. But let me tell you, as you get settled, why this show, this podcast is called The Art of Moving Forward and not something businessy. Well, I have been in operations, strategic operations excellence for maybe the last 14 years now. And I have shaped all sorts of things and grown all sorts of projects with different leaders and guides and CEOs and founders. And when I am developing growth plans and, creating strategic outputs and doing things to make their company scale and grow and transform, I find that the things that we think are the problem are never the problem. Entrepreneurship and business ultimately is a numbers game. It is a numbers game, not in the sense of like dollars and cents, that's important as well, but from where I'm standing, it is a game of how often and how well and how strategically do you allow yourself to have the courage to move forward. And how many days out of all the days are you actively, courageously moving forward towards your final destination? And that is how we got to this show. Because as you are becoming a founder, as you are being a CEO, that isn't the only thing that there is to you. There's so much more. There is the human of you. There is the business of you. There's the human of you that is in the business. And all of these pieces of you are so important. And sometimes they're not on the same page. Sometimes they're not in the same place even. And so what I have found in my years of doing this work is that when you meet a founder or a CEO who has a skill set for moving forward despite the challenges that their personal and professional lives may throw at them, you have a really good entrepreneur. I don't mean good as in bad. I mean, you have a solid person. Even if you have someone who doesn't move forward really well, but they're willing to learn what they need as a being to be able to put their best work forward, you have a good entrepreneur. So it doesn't matter where you're starting. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to business or you have been in business for a long time. This podcast, this show has foundational gems that you can take back to whatever it is that you're doing and work it into your process. And that's why we have this show, The Art of Moving Forward. So you'll get topics that are spiritual and entrepreneurship and growth based and all of them all at once. And so I welcome you. Today's episode, we are diving into a topic that is very, very important and very, very special to me. And I thought that, you know what? If this is going to be the first episode, we might as well kick it off how I want to kick it off. And here's how I want to kick it off with you. We are diving into what I call the 375 blueprint. Okay? Now, the 375 blueprint, you can think about it as 375K. You can think about it as 375 just because it rings really well. Or you can think about it as like the $33,000 blueprint. Okay, this is what today's episode is about. I'm so excited. Please come on in, get settled, and let's move into the attention for today. Okay, so if you're at a spot where you can sit and maybe close your eyes, I invite you to do so. Today we're going to be talking about what it takes to design a business, to create a business, or grow a business to the point where it hits 375, right? $375,000 or more regularly, consistently, and sustainably. And how you can turn anything that you do into a very lucrative, very profitable endeavor, okay? And so when we do that, when we give ourselves the courage to shift our attention and shift into our businesses, we're activating time and resources and energy and creative power, and we're reclaiming that. And so that's the 375 blueprint. So by the end of this episode, you should have some real sustainable highlights and insights to go back to your work or maybe your career and find where you can bridge the gap and close some loops between you and the work that you do. So allow your eyes to close. Take a second and let's pause. Take 3 of those deep breaths. 2 more. 1 more. Okay, so let's kick this off. So let's start with a story. I teach best, I educate and guide and consult best from my own point of view and my own lived actual experiences. So let me tell you about an early client that I had. This was when I first jumped into the world of consulting. I had just left big tech and I had relocated home. Everything was different. My whole world was upside down. Didn't know who I was, who I wanted to be. Didn't know how I was going to get to the things I needed to get to. And I had no idea what I was going to do for money. And I had a client who was a jewelry designer who I met at a baby shower out of all places. And she was running a wonderful business. By her definition, her business was successful. By other people's perceptions, her business was wildly successful. She was doing all the things that businesses are supposed to do. She was going to the trade shows and she was designing and she was creating and she was launching and she was executing. So why did she need me? Well, on the surface, on the outside, it looked like her business was doing everything that it was designed to do. It looked like her business was doing everything that it was meant to do. But on the inside is where you find the problems and where you find the challenges and the opportunities to turn something around. Because when I met her, she looked good on the outside, but on the inside, everything was a mess. She was barely raking in profit. She had 1 staff member that would help her design and create and complete orders because she would do like hand stitch work. And so between her and this young woman, that's how they got all the work done. And she knew that as she sold more, she should have been making more money. But she wasn't. She was just selling more, and then the cost of running her business was also eating her alive. And so her profit and her costs were neck and neck, oftentimes competing. So much so that she was only able to pay herself about $40,000, I think was what she paid herself, and barely. A lot of times when she needed money, she would go to her husband, who was also a successful artist as well, and would, funnel monies to pay for things to cover expenses in the business. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. We all have to start somewhere in some path. And so when we met, she wanted to change her business around so that it could be the thing that she knew it was capable of being, because she had done this for so long. And so what we did together was we took her business, we figured out what she wanted to do. We discovered a pathway that she could do all of the things that she wanted to do so that her business did and was responsive to her actual efforts, and that her business was no longer running her and she was no longer committing hours upon hours upon hours in the business. Well, I came in, duplicated some processes, eliminated some tasks, refined her to her zone of genius, and then built out her team. And she was able to reclaim so much of her time that within 8 months, her goal that she had set when we met, we set goals. That her goal that she had set of being, hitting 250K the following year, the year that we met, she was able to achieve that in 8 months. By the end of that year, she was able to close her business at $400,000 profit, and she was able to have a team of 5. She was able to move into a warehouse and move into a standalone location. Now, if that's not a turnaround, you can't tell me what is. So, what does this have to do with you? This early experience taught me what it takes to become a $375,000, $400,000 business. What it really takes to do that. And this experience taught me that, when you are a creative, first of all, let's backtrack a little bit. Every entrepreneur is a creative. If you have the ability to imagine a world that does not exist and then create that thing in the world, you are a creative, and you are expressing your creative genius by bringing that thing into the world that we need. And so what I realized was that when you have someone who is a creative, you have to show them that there is inherent value to the passion that they bring to the work that they do. That it is all right, it is good, it is nice stuff, good, solid stuff, to be a passionate creator, to be multi-passionate even, because that exact energy is the energy that's going to sustain you. So, what is the 375 model? Well, we call it, in my universe, we call it the multi-passionate profits model, right? But what is that really? And what does that mean? The multi-passionate profits model, or the 375K blueprint, is your blueprint to the best life that you could live and then some. This is a world where we're building companies and businesses and scaling, where we're working 25 hours or less a week. We are so refined, so activated in our work that 25 hours or less is where you thrive and flourish. My ideal for any client that I work with is actually closer to 20 hours a week if I'm actively doing your process for you, but just go with me. It is you creating whatever you want to create 100% of the time. It is all that full activation and monetization of your creative powers, okay? We'll come back to that. And then you earning at minimum $375,000 from the combination of all of your creative endeavors, of all of your projects, and all of your monetized, highly strategic, highly lean processes. And we all have this within us. And so it's about being able to do your thing well. The multi-passionate profits method is a 3-step method to help you achieve that outcome, to achieve that 375 blueprint. This is how we get here. And the way that we go about creating this universe is by understanding three key principles: innovation, creation, foundation. This is your core. This is where the business gets turned on and activated. To be able to shift into 25 hours or less a week, a person has to really understand the first step, which is innovation. You are here to innovate. The industry that you feel called to, that you have foundationally set your career roots in, whether that's, this is usually your innovation business, or is usually the main thing that you do. It is the thing that brings you the most joy. You have I'm Jamaican, so we don't say certificates, we say certificates. But you have certificates in this thing. You have diplomas maybe in this thing. You just have to find your specific niche of what you do well in this thing. And being able to find and refine your innovation powers and what you have to contribute is the first step. Because if you're going to lean back your time, you have to be able to look at what you already do, see the opportunity to get even more fine-tuned at what you do and what you are uniquely coded to do. So what this means is, when you have an innovation business, your main thing, whatever your main thing is that you do, your consultancy, your firm, your agency, your company, right? You have to understand that you are very uniquely poised to innovate, to change this industry, how it runs, how people feel, how people act in this space. And that is your direct charge. Okay? That when you understand that you are here to be an innovator, to be a leader, and you look at your work from that point of view, it changes what you decide to do and how you decide to do it. This is usually where I invite the Pareto principle, where it says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. When you are being an innovator, you move your attention, your work to that 20% and you stay there. And you allow resources to fall in place, resources to come in, you hire, you move, you navigate, and you focus on innovating that industry. And that's the first way to get these steps done and get some time pulled back off of your schedule. Because once you are in your innovative zone or your zone of genius, once you are doing your work and your contribution so well, now you get to shape your whole entire company around that, your whole entire business around that, your whole entire career around that 20% niceness that gets you 80% profit, 80% of your results, 80% of your outcomes, and your most desirable, juicy outcomes at that. Step 2 to being able to move into the 250K blueprint is creation. You have to understand what you are here to create. Now, this is different from innovation. Your innovation, think of it as your main business, the thing that you do that you've been studying, you're doing it now, right? It's your main thing. But let's talk about this creation piece, right? This creation piece is about perfect self-expression. A lot of times when people start businesses, they put all their creative ideas to the side thinking that all their energy should go into building this one thing. That's wrong, my friends. All of your energy should go into being the most well-rounded version of yourself. So, what does that have to do with you? Creation. When you understand that innovation is one layer of you and creation gets to be the other, you get to call in all of your creative pursuits, all of your creative ideas, and all of your creative mastery. It is important for you to do and monetize and activate whatever is the creative thing that you're here to do, because that has you living in your zone of genius from a different standpoint. Your business is running, you're in the world, and you're saying, okay, well, I'm making more profit because I'm expressing myself in all areas, okay? That is how you get to a space where you can create what you want to create 100% of the time, and it doesn't matter because all these things are connected. And then the last step of this process, the last thing that's important to understand about this process is foundation. As a leader, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, it is your job, it is your assignment to leave a legacy, a tangible legacy for the world that you wish to shape. So all parts of you get to be held, right? All parts of you get to be witnessed, but you have to understand that the charge that you're taking up, and you have to create something that will outlast you. Yes, your company will outlast you. Yes, your creation will outlast you. But what about those kids or those moms or that really intimate community that you are so passionate about? See, the innovation, creation, and foundation steps are really, really high level about being a well-balanced human, around the idea of not putting any more pieces of you to the side in favor of profit. So there's a way to be a multi-passionate professional. There's a way to be a multi-passionate CEO and founder, because you get to be that. But, you have to kind of know where you're going. And understand that all those random ideas that seem random, they're also related, and they get you the thing that you want. The 375, the 25 hours or less a week, and the creative power, the monetized creative power. And that is your work to do. And so when I think about that client that I told you in the beginning of this story, in the beginning of this episode, what I really want you to take away is that you want to be a better entrepreneur. You want to be closer to $375K, $30,000 months, all that and more. You have to get really good at owning all of you. Own that you're an innovator. Own that you are a creator. Own that you are a foundation and a legacy builder. And when you shift into that, you shift into CEO and founder mode specifically. You are not just a creative. You are not just someone who goes and gets contract. You are meant for more. And it is a part of this journey that you have to know how to shift your attention so that you're able to go get more. So you might be asking, how can I incorporate this in my world today, Tanisha? I hear you talking about these concepts. I don't fully understand them, but like I want to incorporate this into my life now because you're making it sound so important. Great question. One step that you can take today is go back to your business. Go back to the things that you do. What have you left off the table? What parts of you are not present in the things that you do? So much so that you find yourself frustrated at the end of the night because you don't know how to invite this thing in. What parts of your work, of the things that, buzz around you, are not yet anywhere in sight? Or what parts of you are quieted, right? What parts of you have you trained to shh and hush a little bit just until you get this one thing right? Well, remember my client, she thought the best way to scale at that time was to, just welcome more clients, welcome more people in, welcome more things in, not to appreciate all of her and what she had to do. Like when I met her, she told herself that she was just a jewelry designer. I was like, ma'am, you're a CEO, you're a founder. And it's time that you started to adopt that personality, because when you do, you shift. And the results come in from that shift. Your perspective changes. So this 375, it's attainable for you. Business is really one of the most spiritual and sacred acts that a person could take on, because you have to pull from the ethers and your imagination to make something tangible in real life. And so I invite you today to go see what you left off the table. What parts of you aren't there, and how can you bring that into what you're doing today? Now, in later episodes, I'll definitely pull in spirituality and I'll give you guys something tangible. But today I just want to tell you the blueprint. The dream for all of us is no longer, 6 figures, 7 figures are great, but let's clarify those 6 figures. Let's get you a business that when you're hitting 250K, you're a business that is probably still just you and an admin. When you're a business that's hitting closer to 400K annually, you're a team. You are someone that has actualized CEO energy. You have incorporated that. You have decided that that's going to be a part of your story. And that's what this podcast is hopeful to do, that this episode today is hoping to do, to shift your perspective. Don't you want 25 hours or less a week doing everything that you love? And don't you want to monetize all of the things you do? Create all the things that you do? And $33,000 months should be the threshold, the minimum for you. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Oh, so here's my question. I have a question for you, okay? This is what I want you to take back, reflect on. Send me an email if you do answer the question and you want some, and I'll highlight it on the next episode. What would you have room to create that you haven't yet if you were to adopt the 375 framework? What would you have room to create that you have not yet created if you were to adopt the 375 framework? Okay, like I said, send me your insights. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to read them out on the show. This was good. So just to recap, what we talked about today was the 375 framework, the 25 hours or less a week, your $33,000 months, and your monetized creative passions. You are creating whatever you want to create in the world just because it's Tuesday, like the founder and the CEO that you are. This is more about stepping into what's next for you, stepping into the big leagues and saying, I got my time, I got my energy, I got my creativity back, and I'm ready to take on whatever pursuits come my way. This isn't about revenue goals specifically. This is about impactful income and long-lasting change and results specifically. Okay? So make sure you take the time to consider what makes sense for you, move in a way that feels aligned for you, and take it one step at a time. Remember, we're moving forward. This isn't about running a race. This is about choosing small incremental changes and making it through. Okay. I'll stop talking now. So if today's episode spoke to you, I want you to subscribe. I want you to like this episode. I want you to share this episode. Share the art of moving forward with an executive, a leader, a creative, an entrepreneur who needs to see or hear this, right? And if you are interested, you can also leave me a review. You can send me an email. You can shoot me a DM. I am responsive to all of those things. And then click the links in the bio to see what other opportunities we have for you here in the universe of Your Other Mind. And for now, I'm your host, Tanisha Yorick, a really dope, really amazing CEO, founder, and multi-passionate entrepreneur. I'll see you next time. Peace.